be kind back, and then also don't judge a book by its cover or don't underestimate people. So those are really good themes. I'm really impressed by your guys' themes already. All right, the dog and his reflection. I think, yeah, the dog's tail wags. A dog, to whom the butcher had thrown a bone, was hurrying home with his prize as fast as he could go. As he crossed a narrow footbridge, he had happened to look down and saw himself reflected in the quiet water, as if in a mirror. But the greedy dog thought he saw a real dog, carrying a bone much bigger than his own. If he had stopped to think, he would have known better. But instead of thinking, he dropped his bone and sprang at the dog in the water, only to find himself swimming for dear life to reach the shore. At last he managed to scramble out, and as he stood sadly thinking about the good bone he had lost, he realized what a stupid dog he had been. Oh, yeah, that was a little sad. All right, so who's our character in this story, Jacob?
The dog.
The dog.
And the butcher.
And the butcher was mentioned, yeah. So what happened to this dog in the story?
He didn't think fast enough, so he just dove into his reflection in the water.
Why did he dive into this?
Because he thought it was a dog.
He thought it was another dog, bigger bones, right? So what could his name be for this story? What could this theme be? Ollie. Greed. Greed. Okay, so that would be a good topic, right? So now let's build off of that and make our theme. What is the author telling us about greed? Celie, don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. What's another way I can word that? Another way I can say that, don't be greedy. If I'm not being greedy, how do I feel about what I have? Good, right? Sadie?
Like, appreciate what you have.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So don't be greedy, that's a really good one. Appreciate what you have. Those are both really good themes for this one. I'll go ahead and write those down on the board here. That way we kind of have these as examples. All right. All right. Can someone remind me of the themes that we came up for the lion and the mouse?
Don't judge a book by its cover and Candace pays off.
Don't judge. Go quiet. Kindness pays off. All right, what do we get for the dog and his reflection? What were some things, Jacob?
Even being greedy and wanting a bigger bone, but it was not a bone.
All right, so what was the author telling us about being greedy?
Wanting something that's pretty bigger. Like something that's big.
So that's what being greedy is, right? Wanting something that's bigger or better, or just wanting more. But what is the author trying to tell us with the story about greed?
Oh, it says it.
It's
Be happy for what you have.
Be happy with what you have. Be happy, or appreciate. You guys saw the other one, and it's foolish to be greedy.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when we're talking about themes, because these give us the one thing about Aesop's fables. It always gives you the moral of the story. This is called the moral, and it's very similar to the theme. But a lot of times when we're looking at theme, it's like someone is telling you to do something. It's a direct, like, direction. Like he's telling you, don't do this or do this. So I mean, it's a little different than the moral, but it's mostly the same. So if someone's telling you it is foolish to be greedy, then what are they? What?
The moral.
The moral, right? But what do you think they think you should do? Do you think they think you should be greedy? No.
It's telling you that you should not be greedy. You should accept the things you have.
It's telling you, yeah, don't be greedy. Appreciate the things you have, right?
And be grateful.
And be grateful. Be grateful for what you have. That's a really good word. Appreciate what you have. Be happy. Any of those could work. Like I said, they're not all going to be exactly the same word. All right, we've got one more that we'll do together, and then I have some a theme puzzle that you guys will do. So it's kind of like it'll give you the theme and then a story, and you guys will have to mix and match and figure out which ones go with which.
Oh,
All right, the bundle of sticks. A certain father had a family of sons who were forever quarreling among themselves. No words he could say the least good, so he cast about in his mind for some very striking example that should make them see that discord would lead them to misfortune. One day, when the quarreling had been much more violent than usual, and each of the sons was moping in a surly manner, he asked one of them to bring him a bundle of sticks. Then, handing the bundle to each of his sons in turn, he told them to try to break it. But although each one tried his best, none was able to do so. The father then untied the bundle and gave the sticks to his sons to break one by one. They did this very easily. My sons, said the father, do you not see how certain it is that if you agree with each other and help each other, it will be impossible for your enemies to injure you? But if you are divided among yourselves, you will be no stronger than a single stick in that bundle. Alright, so this has some more challenging wording in this one, and there's no picture for us to interact with, but could someone kind of give me a recap? What happened in the story first? Who are the characters? Mason.
the sons and the father.
The sons and the father. And what happens? What's
The kids were arguing with each other, and so the dad came up with an example, and it was that he let each of them try to break a bundle at a time, which is like all their enemies go like against them. But if you are working together, like because he divided the bundle up and they were able to break it, then you can stand up against your enemies.
right, exactly. So what would be a theme of the story? And in this one he almost kind of says it. The father kind of gives us some good commentary that clues us into what the author could be trying to tell us. So
It's easier to do things when you're together instead of apart.
it's easier to do things when you're together than when you're apart, Nancy.
You will be more stronger than a single stick in that bundle.
So that is what he says, but the woman just came up to you and was like, "You're gonna be no stronger than a stick in that bundle." What would you think? Like, you know what I mean? Right, because we want the theme to be something that someone could just come up and tell us, and it makes sense. If someone can just come up and say, "Don't judge a book by its cover," someone could come up and say, "Kindness pays off." Someone could come up and say, "Be happy or appreciate what you have," or to not be greedy. Wes?
Together is better.
Together is better. That's a nice, lovely, short way of saying it. Let's see our story, The Bundle of Sticks.